Hello, this is Carrie again, and I have another video for you today. Today I have a review of the Prang washable watercolor, and there is a subscribe link over there. There is a tip jar over there, and then down below will be a bunch of links to past videos that I have done. So let's get started. These are the Prang watercolors. They come in a number of different kinds of sets. But they all have a few things in common. They all have at least 8, sometimes 16 paints. They will have, doesn't come with one of those, but one of those is here now. Um, they will have a brush of some sort. This is my brush. The brush that I've seen in some other sets is a little bit different. Let me show you this brush. This is a white nylon brush that came with, move this out the way. It came with one of these, but I found this to be problematic because, as you can see, it had some like ends coming out of it. But anyway, this is the brush that I got, and this brush actually doesn't feel like it's too bad. I haven't used it yet. We'll see when I use it how it is. And as I said earlier, it comes with 8 or 16 paints. In this case, for this one, I have seen some sets where each individual paint is replaceable, but for my set you can replace the whole thing, but you can't replace individual pans. That just depends on how much, I guess, what kind of a set you get. I paid about $3 all in for this, including like shipping and everything. So with that in mind, I think that they're really good, really good value for affordable, generally advertised as children's paints. It has a little mixing area right over here. As I was saying here, they are considered semi-moist, which means they never completely dry. And they're always like a little wet, which is fine. Or rather, I call them semi-dry. The colors that came in the set, the colors aren't labeled or anything. So you just have to sort of figure it out, I guess. I named these colors. These are my own names for the colors. These are black, brown, purple, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. And I will show you some of the stuff that I made with some of the paints. This is the paints. This side here is the paints just lifted off without first wetting the paints. And this is if I wet the paint first and then pull the colors out. And I just want to show you this because this is how they look like when they're dry. They do look a little bit better when they first come in. I have here a little water droplet, and I'm just going to drop a drop of water on these. Oops, that might have been, so every time I do this on film, I always do more water than I intend. I'm not sure why I always do more water than I intend when I do it on film. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I did want to show you this. This paper that I used for this was a student grade paper because I wanted to see how they perform. This is a Strathmore 200 series skills paper. This paper is considered for practice, but for this video I want to use a slightly better paper just to see if they perform a little bit better on the better paper. This is a Strathmore 500 series, and this is what they use for professional like finished works of art. But just for the case of this review, we're just going to use this paper just for the sake of argument, and then compare what it looks like compared to over here. And it does seem to, when you first put it on, it is brighter than when it finally dries, if that makes any sense. So when you first put it on, it does go on a little bit brighter. Hold on, let me see if I can do this here. So this is just so you can see the difference between how that looks over there and how it looks on here. They do seem to go on a little bit brighter than they dry, not as bright as they first go on, which is something that you would expect to see from affordable student grade paints. And these are washable, I think. This is this is a paint stain. I'm gonna pause for a second and clean that up. I paused for a second and I got that up. Let's do the next color. That's the one thing I did find about the purple, is the purple comes out almost like a pink. Which again, if you're painting, I swear, I keep dropping these paints as I got them a little bit too wet. Like I said, I originally did put in too much water, and I keep dropping these paints. Try to see if I can do this without dropping it. And certainly some colors are brighter than the others. I found black to be really very good in terms of how the black looks. This is the yellow on here. The orange, I was not particularly pleased with the orange. And you will see the orange here is not very, it looks like, I think it's more of a, like a European flesh tone kind of color than a true orange. And that is the red. And let me show you. I made these with this, and these are all, most of these colors are made from various blends. You can see that they do you can see that they do sort of develop a like a little bit of a cakiness, because I think I did put it on a little bit too thick, but that's what I had to do to try to get a strong color. And then once it dries, it does seem to fade a little bit, but anyway, clean this up a little bit because this is just going to keep making a mess and go all over if I don't get it up. All right, so we got that up, and I just want to show you. I do think that the artist grade paper does seem to give me, for the parts that are kind of sort of dry, it does look like it gives me a slightly brighter color, but these are fugitive paints. These are not going to be light fast. So even though it does give me a brighter paint, I would still stick to either doing it on the coloring book paper or use, and just to show you, mixing these two colors up over here, just to show you what a mix looks like. So the mixes are okay. They're especially for the price. These are actually quite good mixes. Like I said, the only color that I really have a true dissatisfaction with was that orange. I'm gonna try to mix a little bit on the palette, on the paper itself, and see if that gives me a little bit different results than to mix it on a separate palette. All right, we're gonna let that dry. And then I think what I'm gonna do while we're waiting for that to dry, I think what I'm gonna do is I am going to, where we can use this blue green right here. This is not the included brush. This is a smaller size. So you can see that it moves, it definitely moves okay. Let me see here. Let me see here. I'll take this, run this here. This again is the blue green that we mixed earlier. So I just wanted, you know what I can do right here. The other thing is that I found that I was surprised at the black is a very dark black. So I was very surprised by the black, and I was very impressed by the black. And I actually went and I did the layering on the black. I don't know if you can see that, but I did do the layering on the black. Just this is less to show you the specific artistic talent that I lack, and more just to show you how it goes on. And I think it goes on pretty smoothly. It does go on a little bit brighter than it is after it dries. You can already see that is drying. It's certainly not as smooth, as bright as it was when it first went on. But that is okay, and still definitely to be expected at this price point. So with this dry, you can see that it definitely works for your adult coloring books and your crafting purposes. I would just, the only thing that I would say is just to be aware that it will fade over time and that the color that you put down is going to be a lot less vibrant once it dries. So you should keep that in mind. And it does seem to do a little bit better with some slightly fancier paper, but at the same time, like you don't want to end up paying more for the paper than for the paints, especially the black. The black already did a really good job on the slightly nicer coloring book paper, but it does much better on this relatively expensive paper. But I did want to show you how it looks on this paper and show you the difference between when you add water to the pan first versus when you just put your brush and you pick up the pan. So you do get it does turn out a little bit chalkier when you do it by wetting the pan first. But you just kind of have to decide if you want a more vibrant color or if you want a smoother, clearer, less chalky paint on the paper itself. So ultimately, I find these paints very acceptable and very impressive for the price. I do definitely recommend these if you are in a a limited budget. These are definitely very good paints, or if you have children in the house or clumsy adults, because as you saw, I did spill some and it cleaned up really nicely as if I had not done so. And this actually, one of the things that really impressed me is how clean this pan gets. So because the paints are washable, your pan will always get relatively clean relatively quickly, and then you can just close this up and you are good to go. So I hope you guys like this video. Let me know if you guys have any question about these or any other paints. If there's another product that you would like for me to review, let me know down in the comments and I will try to get to it. And also let me know down in the comments, what would you call this color? Because I called it orange, but then that I'm looking at it, I feel like it's maybe a European flesh tone. Let me know down in the comments if you would call this a more orange or more European flesh tone. All right, I will see you guys next time and have a great day. Hey guys, I wanted to pop back in and to show you that once it is dry, or at least more dry, it definitely does get a little bit less bright, even if a little bit of the chalkiness remains. But I, personally, I would not use, expensive artist grade paper on this, but you're an adult, you make your own choices. So I did want to show you that. The other thing I wanted to show you is that once it dries, if you guys remember how bright it was just a few minutes ago, once it completely dries, it definitely does get a lot less bright and looks more in keeping with the rest of the picture in terms of how pastel it looks. So there is that to keep in mind, that once it finally dries, it's not going to be as vibrant as it is when you first put it down. All right. Thanks for watching.